should be heard. Because as soon as you start ignoring religious values, you start ignoring where we came from and where we're going to. Okay? This state, believe it or not, is still a religious state. It's the Church of England. We have representatives in the House of Lords that are archbishops of the Church of England. Yeah, it might very well be, but our faith and our basis on what we believe and what we do is important. And maybe the moral values that come through religion might help in many ways. We cannot turn our backs on any of that. Now, I am fortunate that I know a lot of people in town. I am fortunate that I've got an open mind and will listen. I believe very strongly that we should welcome all religions. One of the most rewarding experiences I had is a visit to our own Harlow boss. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. Some of the most educated, well-articulated individuals. You can't hate that. You've got to love those that are different. Anyone that says any different has no place in politics. Anyone that says any different, I'm afraid I can't have anything to do with you. We must respect each other.
With values. But I don't see why British values are somehow better than French values or Indian values, or Canadian, American, or Pakistani values. I believe very much in human values, and human values tend to be the same all over the world. I personally feel, and I know the Green Party supports this, and I'll agree with Sam on this, that all votes taken upon should reflect the views of the people that you're representing. I strongly oppose the idea of party whips, and luckily the Green Party doesn't agree with it. I think if you look at how Roberts voted over this Parliament, there may be several votes that he might not really agree with what he did. I certainly hope he didn't. Where he's followed the party whip. We should consider 21st century morality when we're looking at morality, not 19th century morality, which some people still seem to think. All decisions should be made on the basis of multi-faith, no faith, but really decisions should be looked at that are sound and scientific, not on outdated ideas perhaps, just because a group of people maybe follow them. It needs to be, we need to be looking at ideas that benefit the whole, going back to what I was saying earlier on about working for the common good, respecting people, and I certainly would be voting on the basis of speaking to people in Harlow as opposed to what I'm told to vote for.
Well, I'm of the Jewish faith, and although I'm not religious, I do, as religious as I should be, I should say, I do have a strong belief in faith, and I think that too often faith groups, particularly Christian ones, that are attacked, are lampooned, are laughed at, are harassed in a way that if it was done to any other minority group, there would be outrage. And I think that this is wrong. And I have taken in Parliament a view that even though I'm not, as I say, as religious as I should be, to support faith institutions wherever I can, wherever there has been a vote. And there has been a controversial vote. And let's just, I know the big one, of course, was gay marriage, which I voted against. But I knew... I am against gays, and I would have supported civil partnerships, but I felt that there was that it would have turned upside down faith communities, and I didn't believe that faith communities would be protected for many years, and I went against my party to do that. It was a very difficult decision for me because I come from a libertarian tradition in my party. And I wrestled with that decision for many days. On euthanasia, I believe that we are making very dangerous moves in our country towards legalised suicide. I'm passionately against it. If there's one thing... if there is one thing that would ever make me want to leave this country is if we introduced euthanasia. So let us respect our faith communities. Let us respect different views. Yes, there will be many people who oppose what I did, but let us respect each other and let us give faith communities the respect that they deserve, just as every minority community deserves respect.
Faith background, I'm a Christian. My granddad was a vicar in the East End. My mum is ordained in the Baptist Church. I'm really proud of my Christian roots, and I'm actually really proud that the Labour Party, so Keir Hardie, Liam Manning, who was an MP here, you know, these were people of faith. But the values that they learnt from their faith were often about fairness, justice and equality. And to be honest, that's what my faith teaches me about. Fairness, justice and equality. And there's lots of Christians in the room. The Bible says about loving your neighbour. And I think my question is, who is our neighbour? Is our neighbour just our family? Or is our neighbour our wider community? Is our neighbour the country? Is our neighbour the globe? You know, which is why, like Robert, and it's one I do respect Robert's party on this, that we would protect the international aid budget very, very important. The unemployed young person, the elderly person that can't afford to pay their bills, people that can't get houses. They're our neighbours, and to me, my faith teaches me about the importance of fighting for those values: fairness, justice and equality, and fighting for the homes that people need, fighting for the NHS that people deserve, fighting for the jobs that unemployed young people can't get at the moment. And as I say, that is for me what I'm passionate about. But, you know, I won't shy away from the difficult issues. I'll definitely vote when it comes to, you know, there's no way I'd ever vote just along with my party on issues that have just been brought up. I'd vote along with my conscience, and I wouldn't be bullied one way or the other. I would do what I think is right. But as I say, people of faith in this room, you have made a fantastic contribution, not just to Harlow, but there's a massive heritage. You know, the food banks are often run by mosques and churches and people of faith backgrounds, you know, and well done to them, do you know what I mean? And lots of homeless shelters and whatnot, people from faith backgrounds running those. And there is a place that the state play, and there's a place that faith groups play in providing those kind of services. But as I say, for me, someone's about humanistic Christian, I don't know if I'm as black and white as that. You know, my values, my Christian values, my Labour values, fairness, justice and equality.
Judeo-Christian heritage is of great importance to our country, and I value it very greatly. I think it's an important part of how we have developed as a society, and without that background, we would never have become what I think the question describes a liberal humanist society in the first place.
Absolutely,
you don't find any other countries in the world that didn't come from a Judeo-Christian background, which did develop into liberal humanist societies. None anywhere else. It is intrinsic to the development of liberal humanist society, I think. It's true across the world. You can't find one example. You do me a favour. You can't find one example anywhere.
The entire African continent.
There are threats to our humanistic liberal society from fundamentalism, from certain forms of religious fundamentalism, and it's not Judeo-Christian. And the liberal society that we do live in is going to have to wrestle with this over succeeding years and generations, how to deal with this threat, because they don't respect liberalism necessarily, and they take it as a sign of weakness. They laugh at you when you hand to them. It's extreme Islam. And they will lots of deities.
2 minutes to just admire Sam and comment on his
wonderful beliefs which are totally incompatible with their policy to cut the overseas aid budget completely. Quite this way. I think we're listening to people. Nothing could be less Christian than to do that. Now look, I'm an agnostic and proud of it. I believe the most important value that we have as human beings is the freedom to choose. Be who we are and who we want to be. If you want to follow a religion and commune with your gods, wherever they are, whoever they are, I'm happy for you to do so. And we all know what the danger is if people try to interfere with that right. The whole history of mankind, wars over my God is greater than your God. For me, as I say, as an agnostic, the most important thing is this life, here and now. I cannot worry about the afterlife. I can't understand it, to be frank with you. And I really worry about extremist elements of religions who are more concerned about the afterlife than the present life and their relationships with each other.
So, all countries, no matter what their religion or faith, and we thoroughly support, equality and diversity. There's not much more I can add to that, really.